Well, if you get hired to work with a client, and after you've worked out who they're trying to talk to, what they've got to say, and what they want to do, if the end result of that is that you can get them a $15 WordPress theme and it will do them fine, and that's exactly right for them, why not do that? Because it's right. Your consultancy and your knowledge and your planning and everything about the sort of the lead up to that, yeah, you should be paid for that. But then why then mug them off with something that's going to cost them however many £1,000 when you could have just done it with a $15 theme? Anyone else?
I think the problem with that, I mean, yeah, it's good, and I think if you should be honest about having to do that. The thing about sort of palming off, but advising that they do that is that support. If you do that, you kind of shoot yourself in the foot. They're more than likely to come back to you to help with that. So although you're not getting, you're not charging them a lot of money, you can still offer your advice and your consultation. They're going to have to install it, they're going to have to sort out hosting, and you will have to do support. And that's one of the arguments with like theme forests and things like that. A lot of the designers on there, one in particular has had to employ someone to do support for his themes, because that's something that you kind of have to do. And I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I mean, I know that there's great services coming up now that allow sort of small business owners and small sort of shop owners to create online e-commerce stores. I think Shopify is it's fantastic. I've looked into using it, and their customer service is absolutely amazing. And I'm just talking to a guy for at least an hour about how it all works and stuff on the little challenge. I really love that. But yeah, I mean, like we were saying, the barriers to entry for small business to actually do that are so low nowadays. There are self-hosted options that will offer the support. And again, if you're honest and open about it, you're going to build up more trust with it. I did the same. They asked me, can I do this? I didn't say you should do a theme. And then they came back to me to do amends or changes to that theme. So you sort of sort of bonus style way of doing it. So yeah.
So kind of just so I do like getting paid to do web design, so I'm not going to say everyone can get a WordPress theme, but I just wanted to expand on that. The honesty and the sort of trust that you build up there, I think realistically for an agency model, you need to be kind of considered part of the client's team, and so by building up that trust, then while the design element or the putting something in place might not take up that much time, it might cost them very little, the ongoing relationship and the building of their business online is more important, and that's where you are going to be vital to them. So I guess sort of the implementation is the small part there. It's the ongoing relationship.
I think the thing to remember as somebody who's come from a very agency-led background in terms of working with brands and getting that brand experience online is there is a certain scale to do with design, and design becomes very cost effective when you reach a certain scale. A smaller business would probably fail to meet the levels of scaling that need to get in, they need to work to see the benefits of really high quality design. The interesting thing about something like Theme Forest is that you've paid somebody already to do that investment of the scale, and then you're then getting that quality. I don't think I'm making sense of this. What I'm trying to say is that in the long run, you've paid somebody else to do that work, and that it's the designer who sees the effect, the quality of that scale, rather than the individual company who's developed something bespoke in terms of where you'd come to a branding agency or a website or a web design agency to kind of deliver that.
I think as well, this is where the kind of semantics of design kind of fall down as well, because that's like the very top layer kind of visual design, which is fine, but I think if you're talking about designing an experience, then that's the whole user experience of content, how you move between pages, whether it makes sense. So yeah, WordPress themes are great, but then you need to know about how your user's going to find information and move through the site. So, but yeah, no, I mean that's great that a little business can get online for 30 quid. That's a good thing.
Just to come back to something I kind of mentioned earlier, I think obviously if you're implementing a theme, I still think it's massively important to optimise the work that you've done. So maybe a small business, fair enough, getting online, getting a simple website, bang on. If they're serious about what they're doing, they will be revising it, they will be looking at the experience, the user journeys, and they'll be optimising it further still. So I still think, even if you were to advise a client that a WordPress theme or something was right to start with, I still think there's the opportunity to do more work, obviously, on an ongoing basis and shape and play about with that.
Thanks, Phil. So my next question is, do you have anything to say in terms of kind of what you regard to be pitfalls in web design? To give you a bit of an indication, my pet hate is people who talk about designing for the lowest common denominator and confusing simplicity with treating people like they're simple. So do you guys have a tip for something that may be a pitfall to avoid? Straight back to you, Ken.
I think a couple of my bugbears are designers that tend to design for CMS. So they'll design a couple of templates and they'll see that as the actual end product when they've not actually considered what the content's going to be. I think I've seen so many occasions where people have designed layouts and designed stuff just using Lorem Ipsum, having no idea and having had no sort of consultation with the client. That just completely breaks when that content's in there. So yeah, that's annoying. I think also constraint. I think in terms of a designer, I think there needs to be constraint in terms of the different sort of elements you're using. So things like typography. Now we're getting the likes of Typekit and all that sort of stuff going on. You're just seeing all sorts of really, really bad typography online, in my eyes. And I think that's a sort of almost a worrying trend for me. And even things like jQuery, it's now so easy to do little expandable and foldable panels, and you just see websites that just go crazy on it because the designer wants to play about and do something that moves and dances around. And it's like, yeah, so having that constraint and having that basic sort of design principles in mind when you're doing websites is massively important.
I think one of mine is kind of people that design for trends. So if a certain trend is coming along on the website, I think the last one we had was ribbons. Everyone absolutely loved having ribbons on their website. I think that's it's the worst thing. You really need to start thinking about why are you using something? Why are you actually doing that? Is it for just for the sake of it being the same as everyone else, or is there an actual real reason to use that element? Like you were saying, people do go crazy with type. People do go crazy with jQuery. I think it's important to kind of hold yourself back for not doing stuff. One of my bugbears, I guess, for redesigning of sites is the fact that people rarely make changes to the site that's already there. I like to always look at the end user and always look at the sort of statistics and how they're using a certain site. Now, if you've got a site on there, say it'll take an e-commerce site to start, that's probably the easiest one to use. You should be making changes within day one of making that brief on the live site and tracking those changes. If you made that search box bigger, are more people hitting it? If you move the categories around, are more people hitting it? So not only do you find that out, but you've also got an argument for what the redesign is going to be. So if you go in to the client with a larger search box and say no, I don't like it, you can come back with real statistics about people on their website, on being able to use it. And that's one thing I love about sort of working on apps where we are working for the user. We are tracking every single, not person that needs to click, but every time a button's hit, every time someone goes to that page, how long they're on that page for, why they're on that page, okay, why aren't they using that button, let's tweak that bit, let's change that bit. I think like you were saying before, you've constantly got to be able to tweak and change. And I know if you do client work, it's hard to do that because you are constrained by sort of time and certainly budgets. I think it's very important to be, if you've got the power to be able to do that, you should definitely do it. And not only will the redesign for that site help, you've also got data and statistics for the next design. You can argue even furthermore. You're not just pointing to a blog post that someone else has written on a different site to do a different user or different style.